Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a video here to talk about a movie that came out in 2022, matter of fact. I just saw it this past October on Shudder when I had a subscription. I had never seen this film, and I was kind of excited to finally get to see it because I hadn't really heard much of this when it came out. Of course, I'm familiar with the franchise, the stores that are connected to this film that finance this movie. It's a very mediocre film, kind of underneath average, to be honest with you. But I was surprised about certain elements about it that kind of made me enjoy it a little bit, have a decent time with it sometimes. And that movie is possibly one of two titles, either Spirit Halloween or Spirit Halloween the movie. I'm not really sure which one it's supposed to be. Everywhere I look, it's advertised as something different. But anyway, it's about an hour and a half long. I don't know anybody involved with the film that are in the movie or outside of the film, behind the camera, anywhere, producers or nothing. Spirit Halloween, for those who may not know, here in America at least, I don't know about the UK or Europe or anything like that. Here in America, we have a store called Spirit Halloween that comes up for about 2 or 3 months that is a Halloween-centric store. You can go in and buy masks, decorations for outside, all kinds of really cool stuff, but it's mostly focused on overpriced costumes and masks and some cheap stuff. A lot of trick-or-treat memorabilia if you happen to be a big fan of that movie. A lot of animatronics you can decorate your yard with, from everything from killer clowns from outer space to Universal monsters, regular signs and toys, that kind of thing, and even cheap stuff like cups and mugs. A lot of cool different things for a lot of different people who like horror, like myself. And I go in there basically every single year, and I love wandering around just seeing all the cool stuff. They kind of pop up in random places too. They don't just show up at the same place all the time. This movie happens to be about a group of 3 boys who are kind of friends, but they're kind of getting into that teenage area of their life where they kind of bicker and argue a little bit. But they typically are at that age where they are thinking they're too old for Halloween and to trick-or-treat anymore. And to kind of make up for that, after one of them have actually lost their dad this previous year, the mom actually got remarried and whatever, he's having a hard time, and the other 2 friends are kind of just wanting to move on with their lives. One of them is kind of shy, kind of bashful, and the other one is a little bit older than the other 2, maybe by like 6 months, 8 months, something like that, and he wants to go partying and that kind of thing. But they all agree to do something a little bit different this Halloween, and they sneak into a Spirit Halloween store, of course like the franchise in real life, and they sneak in there and hide out for an entire night. But there's a cold open to this film about Christopher Lloyd, who is in this film. Yes, Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future and Star Trek 3, I believe. Star Trek 3? Pretty sure. Anyway, Christopher Lloyd is in this movie as the villain. He's basically a guy who got killed by like some weird voodoo curse once upon a time in the cold open of the movie. And he happens to be haunting this particular Spirit Halloween. He tries to lure the boys in to let him get one of their bodies by midnight that night and to be able to sneak out with their body and be able to live as them, essentially. And throughout this film, he terrorizes the 3 boys and eventually the older sister of one of them that comes into the building and tries to help them get out. He terrorizes them with animatronics and different decorations and whatever that you'd see if you walked right into a Spirit Halloween, which was kind of cool as a concept to see in a cheapo fashion, because this movie feels and kind of looks a lot of the time cheap for what budget they gave it, which was not much. With how much money Spirit Halloween and Party City, who's behind it, rake in all of the time, it's kind of surprising to see them kind of cheap out for this movie. But I get it. I'm not trying to be insulting, I get it. To see different decorations that I see all the time when I go into the store yearly come to life, sometimes in a very shitty fashion, and go after small kids in a very Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark way, was really nice. I actually didn't hate that at all. I thought that was the best element of the film. And again, that moving along, your mom getting remarried, your dad passing away, all of that storyline about kind of the main kid of the 3 that we follow, the 3 boys, I really liked that. I didn't hate that dynamic. I thought the kids brought a fairly decent performance. I didn't think anybody was a complete standout as the worst in here. Everybody tried. For the kind of budget they had, the kind of script they had that was kind of mediocre, and again, kind of underneath average, very lackluster, very sloppy in execution, I would say. For what they had here, and kind of the cool, kind of creepier moments, some of the creepier animatronics that don't get utilized more the way they should have, it's kind of a shame. I wanted to love this a lot more than I actually ended up loving it. It's not a bad film by any means, but it's not great. It's not really even good, if I'm being honest with you. It's just kind of surprising that this was not worse than what I expected it to be. I was looking forward to it, but at the end of the day, it's not really a big recommendation for me, for anybody. But I will say this, surprisingly enough, this is a family-friendly Halloween horror film. This is like Goosebumps. This is like Are You Afraid of the Dark, where if you have kids you're trying to get into horror, your own children, your nieces, nephews, whatever, you all can sit down and watch this. There's no cursing as far as I remember. There was no gore in the movie. There wasn't really anything scary, not really many jump scares or anything like that. It doesn't really have a great atmosphere, but it does manage to capture that feeling of being in a Spirit Halloween store and kind of that feeling of Halloween night a little bit. Not amazingly so, but very much in a very Disney Channel original movie type of way. Like, think of Halloween Town without the big budget behind it. That's what this reminds me of a lot of the time. And it feels like a concept like Phantom of the Megaplex from Disney Channel. If you happen to love that, you might really enjoy this and find something in here to appreciate. I had a good time, if I'm being honest with you. I don't hate it, but it's not really good, but it's something I can appreciate, and I think a lot of younger audiences and a lot of families who don't want to show their kids too much violent horror or anything like that would probably really enjoy for the most part. When it comes to this movie, Spirit Halloween the movie, whatever you want to call this thing, it's got a nice pace to it. It's a little confusing, it's a little goofy, a little silly. The CGI and practical effects are not amazing, nor is the acting, but it's kind of charming. In a weird way, it's kind of charming at the end of the day, and I don't hate it, frankly. If I had to rate this movie, by the way, the music is very, very cheap. There is no real theme song or anything like that, which I expected Spirit Halloween to really go all out, at least for that. They did not. If I rated at the end of the day on a 5-star basis, I think I would give Spirit Halloween the movie, whatever we're looking to call this thing, I don't know. I would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars, but it's a very low 3 out of 5. It's leaning towards a 2, dude. Very close to being a 2. But it's charming, and I can't help but enjoy that about it. I wouldn't buy this and put it in my collection or anything of movies, but not horrible. Not horrible. Anyway, have you read it, or watched it, I guess? What did you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about it down in the comment section down below. I think when this came out, it had like a theatrical release. I can't talk tonight. Oh my god. I think it had a theatrical release, but not by much. Not by much at all, so I don't know. Let me know what you think about this movie. I'd love to hear everything you have to say about it down in the comment section down below once again. Thank you all. God bless you. I know it's a little late too because it's the mid-November at this point, but I did watch it during October. It's almost Thanksgiving next week, so have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a happy Halloween, if that counts for shit now. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.